A guy I know got promoted last year. Good salary bump, new title, corner office, the whole thing. He had been working toward it for almost 3 years. And the night it happened, he went home, sat on his couch, and the first thing he did was open Instagram. Within 10 minutes, he had seen 2 people from college who had started their own companies. One guy from high school who just bought a house, and a girl he used to sit next to in chemistry class who was apparently traveling through Europe on what looked like an unlimited budget. By the time he put his phone down, the promotion didn't feel like an achievement anymore. It felt like a participation trophy. He told me later, "I don't even know why I looked. I knew it was going to make me feel like garbage. And the worst part is, I can't stop doing it." That moment, the one where something genuinely good happens to you, and within minutes it gets swallowed by someone else's highlight reel, is so common now that most people don't even question it anymore. But today, we are going to question it. Because the psychology behind why you constantly compare yourself to others and still feel like you are falling behind even when you are not, is one of the most important things you will ever understand about your own brain. And once you see it clearly, it loses a significant amount of its power over you. Let's start with the part that isn't your fault. Your brain was literally designed to compare. It is called social comparison theory, first introduced by psychologist Leon Festinger in 1954. Festinger found that humans have a fundamental drive to evaluate themselves, and in the absence of objective standards, they do it by comparing themselves to other people. This wasn't a flaw, it was a survival mechanism. Thousands of years ago, understanding where you stood in your tribe, who was stronger, who had more resources, who was a threat, that information kept you alive. Your brain learned to scan your environment constantly and measure yourself against the people around you. The problem is that your environment has changed dramatically, but your brain has not. 1,000 years ago, you compared yourself to maybe 20 or 30 people in your village. Today, before breakfast, you have already been exposed to hundreds of curated versions of other people's lives through a glass screen. Your brain doesn't know the difference. It processes each one as if it's a real person standing in front of you, living a better life than yours. And it reacts the same way it always has. You are not enough. You are behind. You need to catch up. But here is where it gets deeper. There are 2 types of social comparison. Upward comparison, where you compare yourself to someone you perceive as doing better than you, and downward comparison, where you compare yourself to someone you perceive as doing worse. In theory, upward comparison should motivate you. You see someone ahead of you and it pushes you to work harder. But research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found something different. When people engaged in frequent upward comparison, especially through social media, it didn't motivate them. It demoralized them. It created feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and a persistent sense of falling behind regardless of their actual progress. And the reason is devastatingly simple. You are comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You know every struggle, every doubt, every failure, every sleepless night in your own life because you live it. But you only see the final product of everyone else's life because that is all they show you. So the comparison was never fair to begin with. You were always going to lose because you were playing a rigged game. And your brain doesn't care that it's rigged. It just keeps score. There is another layer to this that most people never consider. It is called the Arrival Fallacy, a term coined by Harvard psychologist Tal Ben-Shahar. The Arrival Fallacy is the belief that once you reach a certain goal, you will finally feel happy, successful, and enough. You tell yourself, once I get that promotion, once I make that amount of money, once I look a certain way, then I will feel complete. But what actually happens is that the moment you arrive, the goalpost moves. Your brain immediately recalibrates and finds a new standard to compare against. That promotion felt amazing for about 45 minutes until Instagram showed you someone who had more. That new car felt incredible until your neighbor got a better one. That relationship felt perfect until you saw a couple online who seemed happier. You are not lazy. You are not ungrateful. Your brain is running a program that was never designed to let you feel satisfied, because satisfied people in ancient times stopped trying and got eaten. Dissatisfaction kept your ancestors alive. But now, it is keeping you miserable in a world where you are actually doing fine. And here is perhaps the most painful part of all of this. The people you are comparing yourself to are doing the exact same thing. That guy from college with the startup, he is comparing himself to someone with a bigger startup. That girl traveling through Europe, she is comparing her trip to someone else's trip that looked better online. The person who just bought a house is scrolling through listings of bigger houses, feeling like theirs isn't enough. Comparison is a game where nobody ever wins because there is always someone ahead of you. Always. Even the person at the very top is comparing themselves to where they think they should be. This is not a race you can finish. And the moment you realize that, something shifts. You stop running. Not because you give up, but because you finally understand that the finish line was never real. It was a moving target designed to keep you chasing forever. So what actually works? Research from the University of California found that people who practiced self-compassion, the ability to treat yourself with the same kindness you would give a friend, experienced significantly lower levels of social comparison and significantly higher levels of life satisfaction. Not confidence, not achievement. Self-compassion. Being able to look at your own life and say, I am doing my best with what I have, and that is enough, without needing to check if anyone else is doing better first. Another study from the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that reducing social media use to just 30 minutes per day led to significant decreases in loneliness, depression, and the feeling of being left behind. 30 minutes. That is all it took to quiet the comparison machine enough for people to start seeing their own lives clearly again. And then there is gratitude. Not the Instagram kind where you post about it, the real kind. The kind where you sit quietly and genuinely acknowledge what you have instead of obsessing over what you don't. Research consistently shows that people who practice genuine gratitude, even just writing 3 things they are grateful for each day, experience measurable improvements in mental health, sleep quality, and overall life satisfaction. Not because gratitude fixes your problems, but because it rewires where your attention goes. Instead of scanning for what is missing, your brain starts noticing what is already there. And what is already there is usually a lot more than you think. The guy with the promotion, I talked to him again a few months later. He had deleted Instagram. Not forever, he said, just for now. And he told me something I keep thinking about. He said, I realized I was using other people's lives as the measuring stick for my own. And no matter how far I got, the stick just kept getting longer. So I stopped measuring. I just started living. And for the first time in years, it actually felt like enough. If you have ever achieved something real and still felt like it wasn't enough, if you have ever looked around and felt like everyone is ahead of you, even though logically you know that isn't true, or if you have ever caught yourself scrolling through someone else's life wishing yours looked more like theirs, you are not broken. You are not ungrateful. You are human. Running ancient software in a modern world that was designed to make you feel like you are never enough. And the single most powerful thing you can do is to simply become aware of it. Because once you see the game, you can stop playing it. And once you stop playing, You finally get to enjoy what you already have. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. You will find a lot more value in the other MindVerse videos on your screen right now. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. And if you want to support this channel and keep these deep dives going, hit the join button. Your support means everything. I will see you in the next one.